Hello everyone and welcome to the new balance patch for the season 6 or 7 or whatever. But let's get right into it. So this is coming out obviously a couple weeks after um, the DLC went live, and it's going to be a big uh, patch for all that stuff. So the first thing, trader production time increased from 25 to 30 seconds. That means you're only making 2 traders per minute. This is probably a big nerf to Mongols just because they want to make all their traders from their one landmark. Shouldn't really be that big of a deal for other people though, because you can just make more markets. Fix an issue, relics, walls issue, a bunch of other issues here. You can pause the video and look at that if you want. But now let's go on to Siege, because the attack speed for the trebuchets is increasing, which I think is a really good change. Culverin ranged armor, Springled ranged armor are going down. Why is this? Probably because Bodkin bolts was a useless upgrade because the crossbows wouldn't do any damage to Siege. And I'm pretty sure this change is just coming to make um, Bodkin bolts be able to do something. Bodkin bolts had gave you like extra damage versus siege for the Order of the Dragon crossbows, but it turns out once you got your siege works that they didn't really do any more damage because their ranged armor negated it. But this could also have some other interesting connotations. So the Springleds having less ranged armor doesn't really matter, but because Culverins would one-shot them anyway, but Culverins having less armor means that Springleds might require one less shot. It also means there's like some very specific things in the game, like damage modifiers, that might be changed now. Like the Royal Culverin wasn't able to one-shot other Culverins once you got Siege Works through. But it was just like very barely. This might mean that the Royal Culverin is actually like really really good now because it can one shot other siege again. I'm not sure. I'm gonna do some testing on that. So be watching for that next video. House of Wisdom fixed an issue, whatever, bug fix. Byzantines, they're getting a pretty big pretty big change here. So they're getting 100 extra stone, which might mean that we see this Ottoman type opening where you just send like 50, or you just send 5 to stone, you get the 50 stone, you don't even build the mining camp, and then you can build your 2 cisterns. But it's not that huge of a change since you do need 150 to make 2 cisterns. In Imperial Hippodrome, supply points being reduced by a lot. One supply point is now only 1 second. Triumph has been increased from 40 to 45, which I guess is a small buff. Greek Fire got fixed. This would apply to all ranged units and was super overpowered. Cataphracts got a nerf. Uh, Numeran Technology reduced amount of increased damage taken by trample. This is a lot of nerfs for a civ that has a 40% win rate. I'm gonna be honest. I'm hoping that other civ gets nerfed this much as well. Charging units will no longer be stopped, so bug fixes. Um, Byzantine traders, okay, yeah, they were generating 30% olive oil. Now it's only 20%, so I guess that's another nerf. Um, Cisterns applied to traders. Well, okay, so just a bunch of nerfs for Byzantines. Cool. French, guild hall's getting changed. Japanese, looks like Japanese have some more nerfs as well. So the shinobi can now go on top of walls. Uh, they can no longer teleport to center of the map, and they can no longer go on top of stone walls. Garrison slots from 8 to 4 for the core storehouse, and it generates farms at 50 seconds instead of 45, so just meaning you can't really get all the villas inside your Koro storehouse, and it's going to take a tiny, tiny bit longer for the farms to spawn. But there's a big change to floating gate here. So Yorishiro no longer spawn on the ground and cannot be dropped. If a Shinto priest holding your Yorishiro dies, the Yorishiro is destroyed. I do like this change because previously you couldn't really stop the Yorishiro. Like they could have those three Yorishiro on the ground and you could be on top of it, but like you couldn't interact with them. And so it was like, okay, well, I guess once you take back this position, you just get to keep all your Yorishiro. Completion of the floating gate, the Shinto priest is instantly trained. All your Shiro priests when they change. Where's the big stuff? Where's the juicy stuff? Floating gate is now rally points. It's a rally point to Valley Viller. Deposit the Yoroshiro automatically. Alright. Um, so the Shinto priest remains. Cool. So buildings. Okay, so buildings deposited a Yoroshiro now have the golden ink scroll. That means they're gonna be way easier to see. Like the little thing, you could just put your forge in the middle of your base, and your enemy probably wouldn't destroy it because it wouldn't they wouldn't be able to see the little thing in the middle of a game. Maximum of 4 Yorishiro. Okay, I that's it. You did need the nerf, but I would have liked it to be a more dynamic nerf because if you only have 4, then you're gonna put all of those in the forges because they're just relics. If a building with your Shiro destroyed, you'll make more. Okay. Shinto priest production time has been reduced from 3 to 2 minutes. I'm guessing that's Shiro time. So you're making them faster, but you only get 4. I mean that the landmark needed a nerf. That is definitely correct. But like the problem here is if you only have 4, you put all of them in a forge. And if it's destroyed, like you can put one in a military production building and destroy it later, I guess, but you can't put it in like your main TC now because you can't destroy that, and you're not going to destroy another TC. So you're basically only putting these in forges now, I guess, which I mean is kind of sad, but I mean the landmark needed a nerf. Maybe we'll see the other landmark now. Castle of the Crow, treasure caravans. Treasure caravans were affording too few resources for on each trade when converting between land and sea trade. I didn't even know they could do that, so that's cool. Tagasika Gunsmith. Starting spot tiles reduced from 5 to 2. Alright. Osaka, their melee armor is getting nerfed. Their damage getting nerfed. So a bunch of nerfs for the Japanese as well. Are fixed an issue. Oh, Torch is no longer receive damage increase on the UI from Katana Bannerman. Oh, does that mean they weren't actually doing more torch damage? There was just the UI that was saying so? Okay. Onobugeisha can construct siege towers. That's cool. Maulians get a nerf. The cows go from 28 to 25. I mean, yeah, cows pretty good. Great Bombard gets a nerf. Thank God. Uh, Population space increased from 3 to 4. I think we can all agree that this was very needed. House of Wisdom, Age of Time increased from 105 seconds to 120. Oh, so it takes you 2 minutes to age up as the Ayubids now? Oh my god, that's painful. Military wing reinforcements removes initial delay on trading Desert Raiders. Ooh, that's nice because it means that you're immediately getting the Desert Raiders. Before, this was you're only doing this in Imperial because it's like you have to wait 2 minutes for them to actually come out. But now you're getting it immediately, which is really cool. Alright, Trade Wing Bazaar. So it's increasing the gold cost. And it's also increasing the amount of trade resources. So you're paying instead of paying 125 for 200, you're paying 150 for 225. Alright, so it's basically the same, but you're getting just a bit more. So I guess you just put more on gold then, and you get more of another resource. And you're no longer able to trade for villas. That's actually really big. That's the main strength of the bazaar, as well as the units. Culture wing logistics, reduce improved healing from 50 to 30%. Okay. Passive Masio granted Imperial Age properly benefits from a plus 30% improved healing. Was it? I guess it wasn't properly applying, and they have less health now. Tower of the Sultan, which is like the big tower ram thing, is getting a buff. It no longer takes you 12 years to make. Infantry support, which is it's like camel support, but it's applies from your infantry to cavalry. Uh, so it's now applying, instead of applying 2 armor, it's applying 3. I mean, it's still not great. Now Joan, please give us big Joan nerfs. Big Joan nerfs. Boar, reduced XP. Alright, so now she's getting 50 less. That's cool. Joan's champions, they go from 3 armor, or they go from 4 armor to 3 armor. Except this isn't that great because Joan applies 1 extra armor to them. So this is 4 armor. And then if you have your blacksmith upgrades, this is 5 armor. An archer has 6 damage with its blacksmith upgrade, so it's still only doing 1 damage to these fuckers. And then, spearmen just die instantly to them. And, I mean, horsemen die pretty fast as well. So if you don't have knights, you're screwed, basically. Red Palace landmark. Reduced damage bonus emplacements on keep from 60 to 40 to match range. Did they have more? Excuse me? Bonus emplacements range reduced from 10 to 9.5. Why did they have more than French in the first place? So the stone, they make less stone. Okay. Jean d'Arc, Honorable Heart. Empire Wars thing, whatever. Correct an issue where French influence system was referenced in a few building tooltips. Bro, where are the big changes? These are like pitiful, tiny ass changes. Where are look how much shit, look how much Japan got nerfed. Look how much Byzantines got nerfed. And we're seeing these small ass changes for Joan. We're seeing Boar. So she has 50 less XP basically. Okay, but that's only 10% of her level. She's still gonna get it pretty fast. And then this, which it's not really changing that much in feudal, really. Like the men at arms are still doing more damage than imperial men at arms. Uh, so yeah, cool. I would have really loved to see just like overall she gets less XP from everything. Or I would have actually liked to see like maybe she needs twice the amount of XP to level, but she like gets 500 XP when you age up. So it's more based, her power level is more based on the age up than just staying in feudal forever and killing you. Let's see. Starting would increase from 150 to 200. Golden Caress now activates at 30%. That's a big buff. Golden Caress is actually a really good tech. The fifth, I think it's 20% damage reduction, but it's applying before armor. It's actually, I think it reduces the archer damage to like 1. Like spear damage is also being reduced. Is like probably only around 1 or 2, or it might be more. Spears do like 9 damage, I believe, with blacksmith, and the men at arms have 4 armor. So you apply the minus 20%, which I believe rounds up to 2, so they're doing 7 damage. And then you apply the armor, so the spearmen would do 3 damage with Golden Caress as opposed to 5. Which I mean is almost 50% if they're under 30% HP. Shaolin Monastery, Shaolin monks. Shaolin monks are dead. They don't have ranged armor anymore. They can be killed. The bald man strat. And here, they're nerfing my boy. How could they do this? All I want to do is make 100 Imperial Guard in Imperial and just kill everything. No longer. How could they do this? How could they put the damage and shit in line with other civs? It makes no sense. And they have no ranged armor anymore. So they get killed by archers. So sad. Alright. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll be coming out with another video probably pretty soon where I'm start I really want to test out the siege, and if it's actually where is it? I want to test out this because I feel like this could be extremely impactful depending on how it changes the numbers. Like if you're able to kill Colrons with like 3 Springles instead of 4, then that's huge. But yeah, check in for next time, and I'll see you all later.